So right now in here we are going to do the dining philosophers problem. So first of all, we require these many header files in the dining philosopher forum. stdio.h and stdlib uni std is fine, like we use in most of the cases, but pthread.h means what we are having, we need to use thread here. So we use pthread.h, and also semaphore.h is because we need to use the locking and unlocking mechanism, right? That is, we need to make sure that, okay, first the two forks are given to one philosopher, and that philosopher eat it using the fork, and then the fork should be released. So that means 1 0 binary numbers should be used. So semaphore.h is needed because semaphore is what we are going to use here to solve the problem. So first of all, I'm going to define the number of philosophers as n, 5. Sorry, 5. Oh, 5. Okay, 5. Now, I'm going to define a semaphore here for forks. This is the number of, let us say forks are there. Okay, that means fork is going to be the semaphore, means it should be unlocked and locked. When two of the fork is first will be locked, then it will be unlocked. So therefore we have to make sure forks are considered to be empty. Then also room means first in the room one philosopher comes, two forks come. To making sure that works, we needed this room. Okay, now let us first do the philosopher function. So that is void star philosopher, void star now. Okay. In that function, first we need to, this num in the philosopher function, this num is the address of each of, that is num contains 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, num contains 0 1 2 3 4, which their address it basically contain. So 0 1 2 3 4 represent each of the philosopher. So we need to convert this 0 1 2 3 4 when we are calling this philosopher function through the thread mechanism. Here address is what coming. So that means we need to convert this into what? Integer. So that for int id. See, id means what? I is something which I have just defined right now. id is something, id of each of the philosophers. So this, through this id we get 0 1 2 3 4, which represent 1 2 3 4 5, such that 5 philosopher it would represent. So int id, I need to convert this into integer first. So star int star now. So now it is converted into what? Integer. Fine. Now I am writing, I need to run this only some 10 seconds and so I'm going to write a running, like how much time this philosopher has to eat and finish and all. So int running is equal to 1. I'm going to define first, and then I will write while after 10 seconds of execution only I will make running equal to 0. This I will say, this is not that much needed still, or you can just write while 1, it's enough, but it will continuously go on execution, that if that's not needed. So while not running, if this while running, we will write the while loop, and inside the while loop the first thing that we are going to do is that we are going to say printf. First is what? First id would come, now can be 0. Okay, so first that philosopher 0 is going to think. So printf philosopher percentage d is thinking slash n. Okay, and id would come. Fine. So this will give us, okay, first the 0 philosopher would come, the id would be first 0. So then it will say, okay, while it is running, which is already we have defined it to be 1. So since it is running, it's okay, it will print what? This statement, that is first this philosopher 0 is thinking. Fine. After that it will sleep for some time, then it will check if not running, if running becomes stopped, then we need to break the condition. Also I have given here, that's fine. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to first take the room. I'm going to first stem weight room means what? It will check if the room is available. Weight room, it will check the room is available. If the room is available, then it will acquire that room. That is what sum weight do. So sum weight and of room, first it will check if the room is available. Okay, if that is available, then what happens is that we understand, okay, the room is now available. So now we need to check if the left and the right forks are available. Then if it is available, then we are acquiring that also. Sum weight and of fork id, that is this id means what? That is in the 0 index there would be one fork, then in the circular version, so that means it will be in the left side. That would be in the left side. Then we have sum weight and of fork id plus 1. To get the next side, you have to do id plus 1 percentage n. So since it is in a, what I would say, okay, since it is in a circular way, it is sitting, so that is why we are using this. So it will come to the next side of the person if you are using like this. Okay, so now we have this, fine. After this we have understood, okay, that means if all these statement works, it will stuck in this statement until this room is available for this id, the forgot and the sum weight. Like after these three conditions, that means all of these are given for this id 0 philosopher, then only this next statement would execute. Until then it will be still there to make sure, okay, that date the room is available for the another philosopher to eat. Until then it will still sit there. After that only we will say, okay, print of this philosopher, that is a philosopher with this id has finished eating. Philosopher percentage d is eating. Okay, now we are going to sleep. And then now what we are going to do, now we are going to after the philosopher has finished eating, now it has to exit from the room. So you are going to do what? First the first fork is released, that is sum post and of fork id. First this fork is released, then we will release the next fork, sum post and of fork id plus 1 percentage d, sorry, percentage n. So that means this fork is also basically released. Then we have to finally release that room, sum post and of room. Fine. So that means this philosophers, everything is over. We can exit from the while loop. Finally, when the while loop is over, that means what? All the philosopher has finished eating. When the while loop is over, print of eating. This is what it means when the while loop is basically over. Fine. So this is the philosopher function. Now we have to do the write the main function. So int main. First I am going to create the thread for philosopher, p thread t. I am writing it as p of and it has n for each of the philosopher it represents. Then I am creating id int id of n, fine, which is we are passing here through the num. This id is coming here through the num, fine. Now first of all, for initialize the value for room has, we have to make sure that in room only first 4 philosophers there. So I am going to, then only each of the philosopher would get, then finally the 5th philosopher will get. So first sem init, I'm going to initialize. Okay, I did a mistake. I write here forks, and here I have write fork. So I have to make sure that I have to correct that, otherwise an error would come. So sem init initializing the value right now for and of room 0, comma, the value I am writing here is n minus 1, fine. Now for each of this p thread, you have to initialize the value. But before that, you have to do for the forks. Forks, actually first every forks are available. So we have to initialize the every value of the fork to be 1. That would be sem init initializing and of forks of I. Each of the fork value you are going to write it as 1. That means, okay, right now for us the forks are available. Now we are going to call the main the function. So for that we are using this p thread which we have created right now. So right now we will be saying for int I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, id of I would be equal to I, and maybe I can write id of I to be I plus 1, so the philosopher number can be 1, 2, 3 like that, okay. So now I'm going to call the function, how? By using pthread create. Pthread create. Okay, first of all we have and of p of I. P of I will come. And in there, what happens? And null, there is this. Now I'm calling which function? The philosopher function. So that is why I'm the same function name here, that is the philosopher, that function. And the passing in the num value I told you I'm passing id, so and of id of I. Okay, fine. This is done. Now I need to sleep for 10 seconds, and then this would work maybe for some 10 seconds, and then we will make the running to be 0. Now I need to do pthread join, that is waiting for other threads to basically complete. That is for int I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Okay, what we are going to do is that we are going to do pthread. Okay, the spelling is wrong. Pthread join would wait for the threads to finish, each of the threads to finish. So that is p of, okay, fine, p of I, that is what you have to write here. I don't need this. Fine. So my main function is over. Let's see, there would be some errors for sure. Let's see what are the errors and how we are going to solve this. gcc philo2.c minus o philo2 minus lp thread, because we are using here LP thread. Okay, there is some error here. Okay, I didn't close this, so I need to close that. Let's see. In sem post there is a problem, so let's see. I didn't closed. I need to close this. Okay, first of all, let's see if there would be no error if I close this. Okay, yes. Now dot slash philo2. So first of all, you can say this is how the output should come. All the philosopher finishing on the philosopher rating on. Why is this like this? Oh, 4 1. So philosopher 1 basically eater, philosopher 0 is eating, then philosopher 0 is thinking what is happening here. Let's see. All the philosopher finished eating, 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 then it is given philosopher 2 is eating, then all the philosopher. I don't know why is that happening. Let's see from our code. Why is that coming? Philosopher percentage D, that is, we have to say, okay, the particular philosopher has finished eating, that is what we have to say. ID. Let's see if the output would be correct now. Philosopher 0 has finished eating. Philosopher 1 is eating. No, philosopher 1 is, all have finished eating. See, philosopher 0 finished eating, philosopher 4 finished eating, philosopher 3 finished eating, philosopher 2 finished eating, and philosopher 1. So that means all of them have finished eating. So maybe if I want to display all of them finished eating, I can do it at the end here, maybe. I don't know, let's see. Print of all finished eating. This would work. See, now this is what we needed, the correct output. So this is our final code which we have done right now. I hope it is easy and it is easy for you to understand. So till then, take care and bye.